I noticed that I was able to rest and sleep at night peacefully and wake up without being groggy and without being tired, which having energy, it was life changing because I've always had issues waking up and getting up in the morning. And now I wake up and I feel I have clarity, and I also have energy to get through the day. And another thing about nighttime getting the rest at night is also coming home from work. I also still have energy now since I started using the device.
Hey, Steve, thank you so much for coming and spending some time with me today.
Hey, mahalo. Thank you so much. Happy Aloha Friday.
Yes, happy Aloha Friday. I like that one. So can we kind of start off by just talking a little bit about your health history prior to coming to QHS?
Okay. There is a history of diabetes that does run in my family. I do not have diabetes. My actual numbers are below 80, actually really healthy on the numbers. I do have kidney stones currently. I have had 3 surgeries to remove kidney stones. 2 10 millimeter, which are quite large, a ureteroscopy I had here on base at Elmendorf, and then I also had a shockwave lithotripsy. So what other issues I have had in the past, I've had severe migraine headaches. I do not actually at this time have severe headaches anymore. And I also, one other thing that I've suffered from throughout most of my adult life is severe fatigue. So those are just some of the health issues that I've had, and some a spinal injury, C5 crack, while I was active duty in the Air Force, which I spent 26 years. So,
wow, 26 years in the Air Force. That would be my middle son's dream. He loves, like he's 20. How old is he? 27, and he just wishes he would have gone military.
Yeah, and I still do work for the Department of Defense now as a civilian. And so the thing is also what I would encourage anybody out there that is thinking about joining the Air Force, also to think about the Space Force, which has been around for about 3 years. And that kind of ties into what QHS, with the 21st century and going to the future, and we can talk more about that. But the philosophies of Space Force and the Air Force is emerging technologies, and that's where QHS comes in, as a way in the 21st century to heal.
Oh, cool. So why did your wife recommend you come to QHS? What was her behind her purpose there?
Well, we've been together 21 years, and we continually learn ways of healing and health and a way to take care of ourselves. And so with her background in medical and being a massage therapist and being a healer from the island of Hawaii, it's a natural thing for me to be able, as we work together as partners, we work together on everything, whether, when it comes to our health. And so she introduced me because she knows I've had, from my time in the military, and I do have some history, of, and I forgot to mention, we also do also have some other health issues. My uncle has had some issues also, and a lot of it with the spine. So I do have some issues with health that we look towards QHS as a way to enhance all of the other things that we do for our overall health.
Lucky you to have a wife that's a massage therapist. That's cool. So what was your primary health issue that you were hoping to solve?
The kidney stones. I've known about the kidney stones for over 6 years now, and I probably had them before that. And one of the reasons why it's so important to me is because I have a couple of veterans that are friends of mine from Vietnam era that were on dialysis later on in life, and I do not want to go there. And that's one thing that with QHS and with the QT Wave and with the home healing system, the goal is to have functioning, kidneys, obviously, and be able to pass these kidney stones and prevent them from forming again. So that was the primary reason to come over to QHS.
Oh, cool. And then how long have you had your device?
Since July. So we're going on 9 months. I started with the QT belt and then went to the small QT Wave. And then now we have the large QT Wave. And we have ordered the home healing system. We just have not received it yet. So that's the way we're going.
Mm-hmm. It's really, I just saw it recently and it looks good. So that's exciting to have. So what was the first thing you noticed when you got your belt?
I noticed that I was able to rest and sleep at night peacefully and wake up without being groggy and without being tired, which having energy, because I wake up at 3 a.m, and it was life-changing because I've always had issues waking up and getting up in the morning. And now I wake up and I feel mentally, I have clarity, and I also have energy to get through the day. And another thing about nighttime getting the rest at night is also coming home from work. I also still have energy now since I started using the device that I never had before. I would always go through these periods of just being exhausted. And it's incredible, the change in the energy that I have for a better lifestyle.
Oh, cool. So do you get up at 3 a.m. on purpose?
Yes, you had to come on to base. I work for the Air Force still as a civilian, so I do get up early. And I'll tell you, I can with the QT Wave device that I sleep with, I can literally just getting 4 hours of rest. It feels like 8 hours. It's a multiplier to be able to get that type of restful sleep, and it's life changing.
Wow, that's something. Do you go to bed early?
I do, usually around 9 or 9:30.
That's not that early to get up at 3. Good for you.
Yeah,
that is amazing.
Yes. And I did notice, though, also, and I talked about mental clarity. And when I started using the device, to be able to multitask at work and to be able to have that type of where your brain is, from getting the rest and from having the QT Wave, you feel that you can accomplish anything, and you're able to be able to juggle and to think clearly and quickly, and especially with problem solving. It's pretty amazing.
Wow. So you're seeing more of a better focus.
Absolutely.
At work. That's important, especially for the kind of job, your industry. It requires an important focus, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome. Talk about the kidney stones a little. What are you noticing as far as the difference with that?
Well, I've been able to pass kidney stones for the last 9 months since I've started using the device without any pain pills and having to go to emergency room. That's the first. And so one other benefit I want to share really quick is that my urologist recently just canceled a shockwave lithotripsy that I was supposed to have because I had 5 mm stones and I was able to pass them. And so we just canceled the next surgery, and it looks like I'm able to now pass the remaining kidney stones, which are under 4 mm, which is a huge bonus.
Wow, Steve, that is something. So they canceled the surgery. Now, are you wearing the device on your back, like near your kidneys, or how are you wearing your device?
Typically, I'll have it in my front pocket, but at nighttime and when I'm at home, I do put it near the kidney area. So I switch it back and forth, and it's very effective.
Oh, okay, cool. So do you have the stones in both kidneys or just one?
Left and the right, actually. 4 mm, I think on the right now, and 2 mm on the left. So that's the good news. And there's a lot less. When I had my the last MRI or the CT scan, it actually showed that there's very few kidney stones left, and I had dozens of them before. So this is really great news.
That is fabulous. I'm so happy for you because I've heard those are really painful.
Absolutely. So that's the first benefit and some of the benefits, but I'm sure as we go through with the home healing system and on to the QARC, eventually there'll even be more benefits. This is just the beginning.
Well, if you started back last summer, you should be in one of the first rounds, right? For the QARC?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. So Dorinda and I are early adopters, and we are in the queue. Yeah, to be one of the first groups to get to go in the QARC in Salt Lake City.
So you get a do-over. So with all these decades of experience and knowledge and wisdom, you get a second chance, essentially. What are you going to do with that? Does that excite you?
Absolutely. Dorinda and I, Dorinda is really the one. She's a very giving, kind person. And, when it comes to humanitarian projects, she's always she has these wonderful ideas, and, it's really unconditional love where she comes from, her place. And that inspires me. So we do it together. And when you can share those experiences and a long life together with somebody, there's no price you can put on that.
Aw, that's wonderful. So she sounds like she's been around for a little while, if you know what I mean.
We both have it with QHS and with the QARC. We're hoping to be able to extend our life and a healthy life for a lot longer. So for anybody in QHS, that's our wish.
Do you guys have kids?
Our children are grown. Yeah, we each have two. So, but right now we've got two huskies at home, a 9 and a 7-year-old Siberian and an Arctic husky. So, yeah, it's just right now here in Alaska. So.
Oh, nice. Do you like it in Alaska?
We love it. I mean, this is our home. Even though Dorinda's from Hawaii and I'm from Minnesota, this is our home, and this is where we'll be, for the near future.
Oh, cool. So what do you feel like when you look at what we're going to do next? Okay. So after the QARC, what are you the most excited about being able to do moving forward?
With the humanitarian project, we are looking towards veterans to be able, up here in Alaska, for example, we've got over 70,000 veterans, which is literally 10% of the population. We have the highest per capita. A group of veterans, many of them are disabled, and part of our humanitarian project is to create the environment, the clinic, or the opportunity for these veterans to be able to sign up with QHS and ultimately be able to go into the QARC and to be able to heal not only from their physical, but also from many of the wounds that you cannot see, whether it's PTSD or any other stress disorders that many of our veterans suffer from here.
Are you aware of our Valiant Heroes project that we're working on?
No, I'm not.
Well, I'll talk to you about that one. We have a whole project, a proof-of-concept study that we're working on for veterans. So that's a big thing that Cynthia's really excited about. So I'll make sure to get you some information, as we roll this out, because that might be a fun project for you.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate you guys reaching out, not only to our veterans, but also to our military, to our active duty, the folks that are currently serving. So, big shout out to everybody, and I thank all the veterans and our military for our freedom. And I know you guys do too.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Quite honored to realize how so many have done so much without recognition. And to me, that's something I would like to see change. That's why I'm a part of the project.
Oh, outstanding. Thank you so much, Tracy. I really appreciate that.
Oh, we honor you so much, Steve. And I really feel like my son that's just obsessed with, military and World War II in particular. I really feel like a past life of his, he was in World War II. And he doesn't believe in any of that stuff, but I do. And I feel like it has to be the way he is, the way he knows everything. He loves going to airplane museums, and he loves talking to the old guys at those museums, the docents or whatever. And to me, there's just too much there that it's a coincidence, if you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely. And, you're talking about past, present, and future there when you're talking about historical, like World War II. And then you talk about current, obviously, with the events that are going on today. And then we talk about the future with Space Force and with the Air Force and all the branches of the service. So your son definitely has opportunities, and I hope he finds what he's looking for, because, it's just like with QHS, this is an opportunity for everybody. It's going to be opening up to more and more people, but this is an opportunity, like you said, to do a do-over, to be healthy and happy, and to have that future, no matter how long you've been on this planet, this lifetime, it's for our youth and for our elderly. Everybody will have that opportunity. So I hope he finds what he's looking for.
Yeah. And our animals.
Absolutely.
Our fur
Yes,
babies need it too.
Yeah, there's a lot of service animals. Actually, we use Hoku and Ziva as service animals. We bring them onto the base here at Elmendorf often, and they work with a lot of veterans, and so that's a big deal. And the VA also here allows service dogs here in the Anchorage area, so it is a big deal.
That's very cool, because to me, everybody benefits when they have something to love and when they are loved by something. So if it's the fur babies, or like one of my projects I was thinking of doing with seniors and children, because like there's children that need extra love, and then the seniors, there's many that need extra love. So
Absolutely.
I think that's a good concept there too.
Yeah,
So,
I appreciate that.
Awesome, Steve. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your beautiful story about healing from these kidney stones. And I so look forward to seeing you on part 2 to see the end of, after the Q arc.
Yeah, and on behalf of Dorinda, my wife, and I, like I said, we show gratitude towards QHS, especially all of you guys that are making things happen to making the world a better place. And one last thing, Tracy, if I could just make quick mention. We know that QT wave technology has been proven, and it is all of us vibrate at a certain hertz, as you may be aware, because it's been shown that we have electrical energy, all human bodies. And one of the things that Dr. Gary Young talks about is disease begins when your body is below 58 hertz, which absolutely ties into what frequency type healing, what we are doing here in QHS. It is absolutely proven time and time again, and it's been around, this technology, for some time. But I just want to say that this is legitimate. What QHS is doing absolutely is 21st century and beyond as far as for healing. And we're excited to be part of this journey with all of you. So thank you so much, Tracy.
Thank you for saying that. I want to add to that is two things. One is Cynthia taught us that when a surgeon removes an organ from your body, it must leave a tail, because every organ has a different vibration. And if they removed it completely, you would die. So they must leave that little bit of vibration that's specific to that organ so that you can live. Is that interesting?
It's fascinating. And this is science. This is proven technology, that QHS. So if there's any naysayers out there, I encourage them to join up and get on the journey. And this has been proven. So there's no disputing that this works, this technology.
How well received is it at your base? Have you talked to your coworkers and different people out there? Is it well received?
Oh, that's a really great question. Actually, Dorinda and I have actually put the QT Wave device in the hands of many veterans, and we asked them just to wear it on you for about an hour. We've been handing it around to several and said, just go ahead and put it in your pocket or just hold it for about an hour. They come back, and they actually are very receptive. Most of the active duty and veterans here, they're like, wow, they feel something. They just don't know what it is, just from 1 hour of holding that QT Wave device. That's actually true. So I'm glad you brought that up and asked that question. So we do share our device just for that short time. it does make a difference, and it gets them asking more questions about QHS.
That's awesome. And you mentioned Space Force and technology. Is there things that you know about the technology through Space Force that we might be seeing or?
Not at this time. I do know that Space Force was born out of a lot of our cyber and our satellite technology, and Space Force has their own mission now. But it again, we in the Air Force have had that mission. It wasn't called Space Force, obviously, so it's a natural progression. I don't know the technical side of it, but I can assure you that anybody who's in the Air Force or in Space Force would be most interested in this type technology with what QHS is bringing to the world. I do know that.
Because they already probably are aware of the possibilities of healing with frequency, whereas many people have never even heard of it before.
Yes, Tracy, you're absolutely right, and that is something that Space Force and the Guardians, they use, I'm sure, on a daily basis already. So it would be an easy transition for anybody, to get involved with QHS. So that's the future, and the future is already here. It's not in the future. We are the future.
Oh yeah, well said. And what are the Guardians?
Those are the Space Force. That's what they call them. Just like U.S. Marines, or you got Navy, or the Air Force, or we're called airmen. Of course, Navy would be seamen and whatnot. It's just that's what they call them. They call them the Guardians. So I call them the Guardians of the Galaxy. Just like the movies. But that's what Space Force is called. They're called Guardians.
Is it a pretty big branch?
Not yet. It's actually very small. And what the great thing about the Space Force is it brought in all 5 of the major branches together into one entity, where it used to at one time through Space Command only be Air Force. So this is a way to bring in all the branches of service and civilians. It's not just military that's in Space Force. So this is like an integrated, it's a joint venture, and that's what's exciting, because now you're bringing more people into the Space Force, into those space programs.
Interesting. And what would I tell my son who's 26, or is he 27? Can't remember how old he is. He's 27.
Okay.
He feels like he's too old.
No, you're never too old. And he still has a window of opportunity to come in, either the Air Force or Space Force. And also, by the way, we do have a lot. I'm a civilian now working for the Air Force, and they do have a lot of civilians that work for Space Force. So if he doesn't want to wear the uniform, he can still be a part of the Space Force. Those opportunities will be there.
He rocks, okay, on his own. He's into all that stuff. So I can't imagine him wanting to go in as a civilian. He would be like, I don't think so.
He can still go on if he doesn't want to go active duty. The Air Force or even Space Force will probably have a reserve or a guard component, just like we do in active duty. So there will be opportunities. Tell him he still has a large window of opportunity to join, not to give up on his dreams.
I will tell him that. And that's the way I tell my kids, like, don't take a job just for a pay, because that will get boring sooner or later. You want to do stuff because you're passionate. Like this job that I have here right now I've been doing podcasting for 5.5 years, not making hardly any money. And this is because I love it. I love talking and learning from people, and I'm a healer. And so it's just, this combination is just perfect for me,
Well, you and Dorinda need to definitely get together, because, she's a healer from the island of Hawaii. She's from Oahu, but you two definitely would work well together. Trust me, with everything that you guys bring to this world, and to, just your energy that you and Dorinda, you both, can make a huge difference. Especially, I do understand the art of healing, because of Dorinda. So thank you for sharing that.
Cool. Yeah, I'll have her book in with me as well, because you guys are a power couple, Steve.
Thank you so much, Tracy. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for your service. We honor you so much. And I do want to reach out to you about the Valiant Heroes Project, and see if there's a way that we can work together with that too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for everything. And it's been a privilege, not only to meet you and be part of QHS, but also to serve in the Air Force. So I did want to say that. So thank you.
Awesome. All right, my dear, have a beautiful day, and I'll see you
All right,
for part 2.